Chapter 196. Deep beneath the sea, the sound of crystallizing ice echoed, accompanied by the clinking of newly formed ice shards colliding with each other. The process was swift, and in an instant, a vast expanse of the seafloor had transformed into a radiant, shimmering sheet of ice. Elsa, one of the 7 Sea Kings, was firmly trapped within these layers of ice by the divine tree. She was immobilized, her aura significantly diminished. Yet, the divine tree stood still, observing cautiously. It was aware that despite not being weaker than Elsa in its current state, it was restrained from fighting on her turf. The queen had more tricks up her sleeve, of which the divine tree was ignorant. As expected, the icy prison confining Elsa began to crack, creating a grating noise. In a flash, the ice shattered into fragments, and Elsa returned to the battle. Upon escaping, she took a long breath, as if she had been on the verge of suffocation. Indeed, marine creatures that have evolved absorb air by breaking down seawater, but what could they break down within the ice? She was nearly suffocated. Angry, Elsa swung her trident, ready to give as good as she got. Rhythm of the Sea was immediately activated, and around her, rapidly spinning water orbs began to appear. These water orbs started to form a large whirlpool, rushing towards the divine tree. Elsa believed that even steel would be torn to shreds by this crushing pressure, let alone a plant creature. The divine tree raised 2 of its roots to shield its face, snorted, and smirked. Then, it too began to spin, transforming itself into a rapidly rotating sphere. Elsa's whirlpool hit it and was instantly dispersed, causing no damage. Immediately after, a blindingly bright light appeared before Elsa, illuminating a large area of the seafloor. It looked like an eye. Elsa was stunned, unsure of what the divine tree was planning, but deep down, she felt a sense of unease, the intuition of a high-level creature sensing danger. The seawater around the divine tree continued to whirl, and bubbles followed suit. The divine tree's body seemed to have undergone a transformation. Indeed, the divine tree had changed its form, and its spiritual power was several times stronger than before. It should be known that the divine tree's previous body was just a wooden dragon, something it used for leisurely strolls in the Misty Mountain, with no significant combat power. But now, it was a combat version that the divine tree was quite fond of. Perhaps it could be called a tree person. The tree person coldly said, "With that form, I couldn't defeat you. So, I will use this form." The sharp words carried an overwhelming aura, suddenly arousing Elsa's fierce combat instinct. Did Elsa now know who the divine tree was? Of course, she did. This strong and overwhelming aura, there was only one creature in the world with it, the mutant tree of the Misty Mountain, famous everywhere. There were a few others before, like the Prophet of the Sea, but unfortunately, he had sacrificed himself to the darkness. What about the 10 great beasts of the Great Era? I can say that they are all in the past. Most of them have been domesticated by humans, the rest have been eaten by the divine tree, except for a few neutrals or allies, like the desert lizard god. Returning to Elsa, her eyes lit up with an endless fighting spirit. Now, Elsa had understood everything. She was indeed a wise queen. She voiced her suspicion. "So it's you. You planned to act before us, didn't you?" "Oh, the mutant tree of the Misty Mountain." Then she switched to a sarcastic tone. "Oh no, it's the Zuizu of the Misty Mountain. Damn it." The divine tree felt too regretful for a beautiful and powerful queen of the sea. The divine tree coldly said, "You know too much." At a research center in the human atmosphere, this place belonged to the Free Federation. It should be known that this federation is currently leading in technology among humans. Through their long reach, they have absorbed all the scientists in the world, achieving astonishing scientific achievements. This also corresponds to their extremely powerful military force. This is the city of flying steel. Just one look, and you can understand their level. A city with a weight of hundreds of thousands of tons can float in the air at an altitude of tens of thousands of meters from the ground. It is also a place that holds many federal secrets. This is Yule, a high-ranking commander here. He has the ability to control magnetism. Oh, dressed like a mummy, with a set of clothes quite similar to Marvel's Magneto? Huh? He has watched too many movies. By the way, this guy is at Transcendent Third Order. At this time, Yule was observing the world map. He took a round trip through various countries, then returned to gaze at China. This place had been devastated by war, broken and divided, with dozens of forces dividing and ruling various regions. Yule, with his flying cloak, felt pity. I don't know how long China can survive. They have been devastated too heavily. Meanwhile, someone was approaching from behind. But among the desolate lands, there was a gloomy area covered by fog. Here, the spiritual power of all species was flourishing. Yule began to stare. Indeed, they are very lucky to have an area that exists as a taboo, which can be considered a country that allows humans to survive inside. Yule was truly obsessed with this land. He was like many other strong people in the world, always being made to crave and feel challenged by the power here. Yule turned to the young man next to him and said, I remember the first person to reach Transcendent Third Order was Linger from China, right? The person next to him immediately confirmed, That's right, boss. Then the guy listed a series of other characters. In addition, there is the Night King of the land where the sun never sets, the Holy Son and Holy Woman of the Arab Principalities, the new Bishop of the 10 Nations Alliance. By the way, this brother is dressed like the Seance. He watches too many cartoons. Then he switched to a respectful tone. But among these people, the strongest is you, Master. Oh, so Yule is the strongest in the world? Does this guy have a certificate of being the strongest? Upon hearing this, Yule didn't react. It seemed that his subordinate was not wrong, but Yule took a light breath, feeling a bit lost, and said, But I can't compare with you, Ziyu. Humans are too deeply divided. There's no way to cope with such large-scale threats. If we humans want to continue to exist, the most important thing to do is to change this status quo. Indeed, with human nature being greedy and self-serving, uniting all countries for a common goal is extremely difficult. History has proven that only when humanity faces extinction can it possibly unite. But, like the Australith incident before, when it was discovered that humanity was facing extinction, it was already too late. A few days ago, Yule had issued an order to summon all the strong people of various countries to gather here to discuss the future of humanity. As the strongest, he hoped that he could have some influence, or at least lead the strong people of the same generation, to save the future of this world. But wait, clearly humanity doesn't know about the threat of the darkness. So are they going to plan to deal with the divine tree? Then, Yule told his staff, You continue to complete the invitation process. We need to urgently convene a strategy meeting for the next stage of humanity. Our target, that is the mutant tree. Damn, it really is so. Before Yule's eyes, the divine tree stood tall at Misty Mountain. He had a 3D map of the entire world here. With the history of millions of years of human domination pumped into the genes of all humans, it is to kill whoever stands above humans. Humans always have the instinct to become the top of the food chain. For Yule, the existence of the divine tree is a double-edged sword. It cannot be denied that the divine tree has contributed to the process of division in the Chinese Federation. This is also the terror of the divine tree. All other countries are trembling with fear every time they think of the scene of the divine tree spreading fog to their country. But the divine tree has also contributed greatly to the survival of humanity by defeating Australith and repelling the invasion of the sea. But the night is long and full of dreams, isn't it? Returning to Fire City where Shaoling is stationed, she was holding an invitation in her hand, smiling scornfully and saying, So the Free Federation has really reached out. In her eyes, the Free Federation is a cunning one, always trying to infiltrate the internal affairs of countries, instigate wars and seize resources, isn't it?
No.
They even go around collecting talents everywhere, with all methods from bribery to kidnapping. Just look at their floating fortress in the sky to understand. Shaoling burned the invitation in her hand, the ashes fluttering in the air. She decided. Now she needs to meet her master, because this matter is aimed at her master. Let's see if the master has any instructions. Returning to the sea, the surface of the water was constantly rippling. Underneath, bubbles were furiously bubbling up because below, a great commotion was taking place. A group of ferocious fish were clashing with each other. It was a life or death battle, a grand melee of hundreds of powerful sea creatures. One side was the divine tree, the other was the mermaid Elsa. On this side, the divine tree and Elsa were still exchanging blows relentlessly, but now it was different, because the divine tree had started to fight seriously. Willow flying knife. The divine tree swung dozens of green blades straight at Elsa. Elsa immediately used her glass bubble to protect her body. These blades could not penetrate. Of course, Elsa was also different now. She would fight very cautiously. After neutralizing the divine tree's attack, Elsa immediately unleashed a sonic wave. Under the effect of the seawater, the damage of the sonic wave indeed increased many times. If it was the divine tree from before when it was still at second order, it would surely have been shattered. But unfortunately, now it was the divine tree at fourth order. The feeling now was just like listening to a country song by Taylor Swift. Damn it, the divine tree almost fell asleep. Seeing this, Elsa immediately felt angry. Her pride surged up. She activated her second attack mode, Rage Transformation. Her whole body turned as red as blood. Her eyes widened. The spiritual power in her body suddenly increased several times. She screamed and rushed towards the divine tree. Following her was the red spiritual power, uncontrollably overflowing and dyeing the seawater red. The divine tree instinctively retreated a bit defensively, but Elsa's gliding speed was too fast. In less than a second, she had touched the chest of the divine tree. Your chest is so firm. Damn it, wrong line. Elsa gritted her teeth and put all her strength into her hand. Something happened right where she touched. So that's it. Right where the divine tree was touched by her, calcification immediately appeared. The divine tree was turning into a dead coral tree with countless holes. In just a blink of an eye, more and more corals grew, covering half of the divine tree's body. At this point, the divine tree had realized Elsa's ability. It was to turn everything into coral. Not only that, these corals were also crazily absorbing the divine tree's power. Wow, it really was a unique skill. The hardest part of this skill was that it had to touch the opponent, but Elsa had done it. The divine tree, with its face about to be covered, seemed unusually calm. It should be known that if the whole body turned into coral, it meant that the physical structure of the divine tree was also changed, completely destroyed. At this moment, Elsa started to shout, "Ha ha, the stronger you are, the faster they grow." So that's it. It really was a powerful attack. These ugly corals would only stop growing when they had completely drained the opponent's spiritual power. With the divine tree's huge power, in just a few seconds the whole divine tree was covered. Even the coral lump was as big as a 10-story building. Elsa silently watched, feeling the divine tree's aura had depleted to zero. But unexpectedly, from deep within the corals, the voice of the divine tree echoed out. "You in this sea will waste a lot of talent. Why don't you come up to the land with me?" Damn it. Is the divine tree still recruiting at this time? It really is someone who is dedicated to his work. But this made Elsa a bit stunned, not understanding what was happening. The divine tree could still talk? Or was she hallucinating? But after 3 seconds without a response, a powerful bolt of lightning struck down, piercing through the seabed, striking Elsa directly, causing her to scream in pain. The coral lump here also started to crackle. From within, a dazzling light tore through the coral and escaped outside. The next moment, the divine tree waved its roots, and the entire massive coral lump was shattered into pieces. Elsa had fainted, and was immediately caught by the roots of the divine tree. The third eye opened, the heavenly eye. The green life seal began to enlarge. A life space opened up in front of the divine tree. Regrettably, this creature, although intelligent, was too stubborn. The divine tree had to use it as a material to expand its own space. The roots lifted Elsa up and slowly put her into the life space. A stream of green light began to sense the prey and gradually absorbed Elsa. The divine tree said softly, "Come with me." Could it be that it's not absorption but taking her as a prisoner? End of chapter 196.